Hello guys, Monk Hanklan here, and today I'm going to be ranking all 10 lightsaber heroes in terms of dueling, one-on-one encounters. Not in heroes versus villains, Darkseid has such a huge advantage in heroes versus villains, and it's not even close. But anyways, onto the ones. So, we'll start with Vader. Vader? You know what? No. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna start from worst to best. So, I'd say the worst is Anakin. Anakin, sure, his abilities, they can be comboed pretty nicely on some of them, like Cream. But closed off maps like Jakku, Resurgent classes, Star Destroyer specifically, whenever you pull someone, they just go into the roof. And of course, many people, they require parries to get them down, many characters. Maul, he's always going to spin attack, you're always going to have to use a parry for him. Kylo, Anakin least count as Kylo. So, Anakin versus Vader, Vader wins because Vader can just overpower him, he has health, he has choke, and what does Anakin have to combat that, He doesn't, it's just below average stamina. Worst stamina in the game. Now, he does have the highest base attack damage, now that's why he has good going for him. But compared to Darth Vader, who has a lot of stamina, offensively, I'm pretty sure he has more stamina than Anakin, and he has a lot of good abilities to help him in it. But Anakin's attacks, they're not the fastest. His ability recharge times aren't the fastest either. His retribution takes too long to charge and lasts like 2 seconds. His passionate strike leaves him wide open for other attacks, although most of the time, you won't see it coming anyway. But yeah, all of these things, they can be blocked. Anakin without his health star card is just awful. He's bad. Massive strikes, honestly, that is... I don't know whether it's worth it. I'm kind of in the middle when using massive strikes or using something like raw strength or maybe attraction. But yeah, Anakin's the worst because he can be spammed by Dooku, because a parry, you have to block it and then attack. That takes like twice as much stamina. And what can Anakin do? If you go far away, he's going to go for a pull. If he gets close to you, he's probably going to do a heroic might. If he passionate strikes, you're going to double parry it, or dodge out of the way even, because it's heavily telegraphed. There's also one particular attack animation where Anakin does a 360. I'm pretty sure that's as long as one of Yoda's base attacks, where he just jumps into the air and flips around. And that can be easily double parried as well. All of his abilities, they can just be easily countered by seasoned players, and all you have to do is just not get hit by him. If there's an Anakin and he's trying to parry spam, you just block and wait, and soon enough, he's going to have to rely on his abilities, and once he's out of those, he's out. Maybe even someone like... most players, they use Anakin's ability right off the get-go. They try and start with a pull, go super aggressive, heroic might, but then they're out of stamina and they're out of abilities. You need to conserve this. You need to conserve his abilities for when he's out of stamina, and you need to conserve his stamina for when he's out of abilities. But most people don't do that, and I've even tried it, and it's pretty hard to do if someone knows what they're doing. So, Anakin is the worst hero. Moving on, of course, we have Kylo. Everyone except maybe Anakin counts as Kylo. Say Anakin and Kylo are on the same level, but Kylo probably just has it by a little bit. Now, Kylo, he can use 2 force abilities while in the air. He can combo these abilities very well. And he can just... he's way more versatile. His frenzy comes back fast. It's very helpful. He also has a block breaker, but then again, if someone knows what they're doing, they will be able to dodge it. If, most Kylos, they use their first, 2 abilities right off the get-go. They use pull and they spam a freeze after, just hoping to catch them, but it usually never works. Now, Kylo is slightly better than Anakin because he has stamina. He actually has stamina. All Kylo has to do is just hit an Anakin enough times to make him use heroic might, and then, you know, what can the Anakin do? Sure, he might be able to get a pull on him, but, you know, that can be glitchy. Kylo could just go for a hook swing, or maybe even an intentional one-hit frenzy, if this is like a really, really good Kylo. Also, Kylo Ren's hook swings are fast. As I said before, his abilities can be comboed, you know, pull, freeze, 2 hits, then a frenzy on top of that. If Anakin's out of his abilities and only has his stamina, and he doesn't know what he's doing, he's basically guaranteed to lose Palmer. So, Anakin, number 10, Kylo Ren, number 9. Moving on to Darth Maul. Now, me personally, I'm better with Kylo Ren than I am Darth Maul, most because I can't aim the saber throw, but a lot of people, they can aim the saber throw. Now, Maul is very good at combos. That's what he's good at. He's very good at chipping away at his opponent's health. A lightsaber throw, chokehold, spin attack, that's a combo. You don't see many Mauls parrying because they have the lowest health pool of any lightsaber hero. They're lowest overall, so no one has less health than Darth Maul overall. When Darth Maul throws his lightsaber, he's not anchored. The spin attack can just be parried. The chokehold, it's a lengthy animation. But why do I place Darth Maul higher than Kylo Ren? Because Darth Maul's abilities, they come back faster, especially if you put on the flow motion card. I personally don't use it. I use blaster defense, flow motion, and accelerated throw. But his abilities can come back a lot faster with the chokehold. If you know what you're doing, you can get the frame trap on them. You can lightsaber throw and hit them. Darth Maul can do a hook swing out of his dash attack or spin attack. But Kylo's abilities, they take a while to come back, you know. It's like, imagine a cannon, you know, it's a very good cannon, but it's only loaded up every now and again, and most times you might not even get a combo, you know, you might not get that freeze, or that pull, or even that frenzy. Maybe your frenzy just gets parried. So, Darth Maul's abilities is vertical throw. Sure, it doesn't leave him anchored, but it is very fast. It's a lot faster than Darth Vader's. It does less damage, but you can get 2 hits. You're almost guaranteed a hit on the way back just because of how fast it is. Flow motion, it can get it back quickly. Spin attack into a hook swing, the frame trap, all of these things in combination leads for more just taking the edge on Kylo Ren. Okay. So Anakin's number 10, Kylo Ren's number 9, and Darth Maul is number 7. Now, who do I put number 6? Do I put Rey or do I put Yoda? I'd say Yoda. So, why do I put Yoda at number 6? Now, Yoda, he attacks like the slowest attacks in the game. Now, his stamina does come back quickly, but then again, so does every light side user. Now, because of his slow attacks, they can easily be double parried. Any basic attack Yoda does, if he misses, it can get double parried. A dash attack by Yoda, that can also be double parried. The only thing I'd say that can't be double parried is probably his lunge attack, because his lunge attack is very fast, most people don't see it coming, and even if they do, now Yoda is higher than Maul and higher than Anakin and higher than Kylo because he has a very good combo that works well against people like Vader, for example. Now, Yoda can do double parry into a block breaker. And of course, Yoda, which you should have agility on at all times, because 3 dash attacks, 3 block breakers, you know, bigger is better, more is better. Now, he can bait out the dodge, he can quickly dash attack, because, you know, you can't just spam dodge. Most people don't have 2 dodges on them at a time. And of course, Yoda can nullify things like exposed weakness with his presence, or Vader's choke with his presence. And also the chokehold and the freeze and the pull. Yoda is basically immune to getting ragdolled, and even the effects after the ragdoll, like getting hit, you know, it doesn't matter, because he has his health. He has that bonus health with him. The only thing I'd say is, you know, maybe a Dooku, someone like that. You're never gonna get thrust surge with Grievous. Even if you do, he'll probably just send you launching across anyway, so you won't have to use it. Dooku's lightning stun, just because Dooku has the fastest attacks in the game, he might get a hit in there or two, and he might take a little bit of power, but Dooku's the enemy. That's a very specific circumstance. Now, of course, you know, Yoda isn't the greatest by any means, but I'd say he's better than Maul, better than Kylo, and better than Anakin. He has great stamina. It comes back, well, fast, and well, yeah. I don't really think there's anything more to say about Grandmaster Yoda. So, what do we have next? We have Rey. Now, Rey relies heavily on her dash. That's why, before the Scarif update, no one played Rey. No one played her, because she was just awful. You know, it was a mind trick. Now, at first, you know, when the game first released, it was like, oh my god, a mind trick, inverts the controls. Nowadays, everyone's used to it. You know, seasoned players, we're used to it. Now, because of this, people know what Reys are gonna do. They're gonna try, you know, bait them into parrying them, and then go for the dash attack. You know, but I equip damaging strike, and I think other people do. But it's just a personal preference. Now, people don't want to be hit by this, okay? So if it's a Vader, they'll wait on choke. If it's a Dooku, they'll wait on lightning. If it's a Grievous, they got unrelenting advance, and they got claw rush. But most likely claw rush. Thrust surge as well, but I doubt it, because, you know, they'll get knocked down. Kylo, they'll probably wait for a freeze, and Kylo and Rey, they just out-camp each other. Whoever uses the other one first, well, basically wins, you know? It's like in chess, 2 kings facing across at each other. Whoever goes towards the king gets taken. If Rey uses her dash, Kylo Ren uses his frenzy. If Kylo Ren uses frenzy, Rey uses the dash. So they basically cancel out each other's abilities, but they're still used often from time to time. Now, the reason why Rey is number 5 and why I'd place her above Yoda is because if you have the star card, which is, you should always have it, an extra dodge is, oh, it's one of the best things in this game, an extra dodge. You know how annoying Han Solo with 3 dodges is? It's honestly the worst thing I've ever encountered. But Rey with 3 dodges, and the dash attack, she's almost on Dooku's level, almost, but not quite. Because Rey does have some damage. Like, she can output some damage. She's a very aggressive character. Now, all 3 of her abilities, her inside basically doubles her stamina. Her stamina is probably, it comes back the fastest in the game. It's the best stamina recovery in the game. Now, I'd say it's about the level as Luke's stamina, how much he has. So that's good. But she also has a knockdown. Now, after this dash attack, she gets 2 extra hits. She can mind trick, she can go for a hook swing. Now, Rey's above Yoda because her attacks are simply just faster, and she has that extra dodge. Yoda can, like, counter people who just want to turtle by, you know, double parrying and then block breaking. But Rey, that dash attack, she can get around people. It can charge through blocks, it honestly can. You just have to use it right. But meanwhile, Yoda, if you don't bait out the dodge, the dash attack on Yoda will just be dodged. But Rey, you can't really do that. You know, you can't jump away from Rey because you know the second you get back to the ground, you'll get ragdolled by a dash attack. But you can jump away from a Yoda because his force is like his unleashed power. It just won't reach. It honestly won't, unless you know it's a Kylo and he's spamming abilities, or even a Vader and he's spamming the choke, just trying to get it all that time. But yeah, Rey is number 5, and she is above Yoda. Now, let's see, who do I put next? I'm gonna go for Luke. Now, Luke is number 4 because he's basically a better version of Anakin. Now, Luke has strong attacks, the second strongest in the game. Anakin's the strongest. He also has 2 knockdowns, the same as Anakin's, but he also has a rush. Now, the only thing letting Luke down is his health regen. Okay, Maul's health regen is higher than Luke's. But Luke, especially with Intensify and then Rush immunity, Intensify is pretty good. It's honestly a must-have for Luke. Rush immunity, that's pretty damn good. I like the card where you have like more stamina. You could go for that third rush though and increase that damage immunity even more. But yeah. So Luke is number 4. He's better than Rey because his attacks are stronger, they are faster, he's more agile, he can use one of his force abilities while in the air. The repulse basically counters Kylo's frenzy. The force push can create distance if you need to get back stamina. The rush, you can hit them twice if you know what you're doing, same with Maul's and I think Yoda's, anyone with a dash attack, but Luke especially. Because you're going to be using it very often. Luke's health regen is the only thing letting him down, but if you play it wisely, you will be fine. You have to time your attacks and you have to be very good with Luke, because Luke is good at everything. He can be defensive, he can be offensive, he can pick and choose what to do, basically. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, moving on to, is this number 3? I've lost count. Hold on, give me a second. 10, 9, 8, no, 8, 7, 6, 5. So, moving on to number 4 is General Grievous. Now, General Grievous is honestly good. I don't know how to play him. You can't play him like any other Battlefront 2 hero, which is, well, I never really, got used to him. I never really got used to going against him, never really got used to playing him. Now, he is allowed maximum health regeneration. He's not allowed flesh is weak, but he is allowed maximum health regeneration. Now, I'm pretty sure that boosts him up to somewhere around Obi-Wan's health regen. And that's pretty overpowered. Now, of course, his stamina lets him down, but his abilities, they help him get his stamina back. He can pop Unrelenting Advance while getting his stamina back. He can pop Claw Rush while getting his stamina back. Now, while he's doing those two things, Unrelenting Advance provides defense from the front. Claw Rush, it can knock them down. And if you choose it right, you can get some hits on there as well. Now, I'd say the only thing letting Grievous down is his stamina. Once he's out of stamina, you know he's going to do an ability. You know that's what he's going to do. So, Claw Rush, after he knocks you down with it, if he doesn't immediately get out of it, you know, he's going to get hit. He's probably going to get lunged at a couple of times. And when he's getting out of it, he's going to get hit again. And then, you know, the Grievous is going to try and parry those hits, but then he's going to get parried, and then it just won't work out. So, Grievous is, well, he suffers badly from combos. Luke, with the Rush glitch, you can do the same thing with Yoda, I'm sure. And it causes Grievous, well, you have to know how to play him. If you know how to play him, he can be the number 4. But if you don't know how to play him, he can be, like, I'd say dead last. Worse than Anakin, even. Because Grievous is like Anakin, but he's better. He has these abilities which can help him get his stamina back, even if it is so poor. So if trained, that's a useful card on him. Cowardly Retreat, I always use that. Line up weaklings, sure, but I don't think it's worth it. Grievous can output damage very, very quickly. Not as fast as someone like Dooku, but honestly, if there's a bunny hopping, well, some people call it the butterfly, but I call it like bunny hopping. Bunny hopping, animation cancel, hook swinging Grievous. Well, be prepared, you know, because you're gonna have to go into a more defensive playstyle against him. But once he's out of stamina, you know he's gonna do, one or two things. He's either gonna Chloris or Unrelenting Advance. Unrelenting Advance, you're bound to get a hit in there. Or if you think he's gonna go and bait you into trying to hit him, you can just get a parry out of that. Now, Grievous is like a solved problem. He's good if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what he's doing, you're really bad. Well, if you don't know what he's doing and you're really bad at him, you will be really bad at Grievous. He's also, if you're going against him, he can only do one of two things. If he thrust surge, he gets parried, so that's kind of off the table. And he's probably not going to do that anyway. Now, because of that, Unrelenting Advance, you rush through it, you maybe get a hit in there, or maybe you bait him into getting out of Unrelenting Advance without any stamina, or maybe he's trying to hit you and then you parry him. But Grievous's downfall is probably his stamina, and he can be rush glitched, yeah, I'd say that's all I have for Grievous. I don't play him often, but that's some weaknesses I've noticed. Moving on to number 3, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, Obi-Wan, in my opinion, is one of the only ones who can stand up to Vader. Maybe Yoda can, if he uses presence right and just cancels out Vader's choke. But Obi-Wan, he's the only one who can match his defensive stamina. He can also gain his stamina back through doing tactics like Grievous, restricted mind trick and into defensive rush, or maybe he just activates the all-out push and uses the damage reduction to his advantage while getting his stamina back. Now, defensive rush, if you have the star card where it does more damage, it's pretty good. It honestly is. And of course, Obi-Wan is immune to attacks in his defensive rush. The all-out push, he's basically immune. You're never going to take perma off him. It's physically impossible. Even if a Dooku is spamming Duelist, and you have the star card which charges up the force push longer, it doesn't matter. Because Obi-Wan has such high damage reduction, I think it's 90% damage reduction, that it honestly won't matter. You're doing, a tenth of the damage that you would be doing. Because his all-out push is just, that resistance damage. So, also, Obi-Wan has the highest health regen in the game, out of everyone. Now, this is very good. He also has the highest defensive stamina in the game. And I like him. If you know how to play him, you'll be very... I didn't know how to play him at first, but if you do, you will be an absolute machine. Now, his attacks are not the strongest. They aren't. They're not like something like Luke's or Anakin's, but they're pretty good. And combine that with his defensive rush and maybe the chance of an all-out push, odds are looking good for you. And someone like Vader who gets you in a choke, if you're full health, I don't think you're going to take perma. Because you have damage reduction. Now, of course, they could try and pressure you, but all you have to do is just pop defensive rush with a mind trick, of course, and get choked again, or all-out push. And if they try to attack you, they'll either fly away or they'll get hit by defensive rush, and they'll meet a horrible fate. So, Obi-Wan might not be as quick as Luke. His parries, I think, are the best. Obi-Wan's parries, I think, are the fastest in the game. Now, his attacks aren't as strong or as fast as Luke's or Anakin's. But he can combo his abilities greatly. Even if he does get hit, he has such high regen that it will hardly even matter. Now, I'm basing all of this off dueling and one-on-one encounters, okay? Nothing like 4-on-4, like 4v4s, or anything like that. Of course, Vader, trumps all in that regard. But, to decide who is the better duelist, I'm gonna give number 2 to Vader. Now, why do I give the number 2 spot to Vader and not Dooku? See, when Vader's out, he's out. He is really out of stamina. He only has one option. He just has to do evasive, jumping or dodging. If he jumps, you're gonna get a hit in there or two. If he just starts dodging, you just gotta bait out the dodges and then catch him. But his abilities are honestly very, very strong. But if you're against someone like Obi-Wan, who just uses restricted mind trick a bunch, or someone like Yoda, who camps on presence to get away from your choke, you will... Well, Vader will be no better than Grievous with his choke, Like, without his choke. Because, well, without his choke, I mean, Vader relies very heavily on his choke. Without that, sure, he has bonus health, and, of course, his lightsaber throw. But his lightsaber throw is so slow, it can be blocked from 2 ways. His health, you can just wait until it goes down, honestly. And it doesn't come around often. Vader's choke, one of the slowest cooldowns in the game anyway. But, yeah, Vader without his choke is not good. No better than Grievous, even. But, someone like... Maybe Luke. Luke versus Vader is a good setup for Vader, because Luke has low regen. Rey doesn't have much higher regen than Luke's, so that's also good. I find it quite weird, honestly. It could go either way. Rey can get that charge in there and knock down Vader, but, Vader can just get the choke on her, so it could honestly go either way between Rey and Vader, but most likely leaning towards Vader, just because of how strong he is. But Anakin, if you try and choke him, he has high regen anyway. He can use Heroic Might on Vader and then the pull, then probably 2 hits into a Passionate Strike. And because his attacks are so strong, he can be useful in those types of situations. But Vader overall, he can crush Luke, he can crush Rey. If he knows what he's doing, he can crush Yoda as well. Even Anakin too. The only one he can't say crush is Obi-Wan. And I'd say that's all for Vader. High defensive stamina, average offensive stamina, hits like a truck. Not the fastest in swing speed or anything like that. But I'm moving on to number 1. The number 1 duelist, in my opinion, Dooku. Now, I think Dooku is better than Vader. Now, why is this? So, Dooku has 3 dodges by default. He doesn't need a star card or anything like that. He also has very high regen, which, if you weren't using cards on Grievous, would be the 2nd highest in the game. Only Obi-Wan would beat it. Now, he also has Duelist, which increases his swing speed to the fastest in the game, and his damage. Now, this can be boosted even further with star cards. The same thing with Exposed Weakness. Exposed Weakness makes that target slower, so it doesn't increase his swing speed, but it makes his target slower, and it increases damage. So if someone's chasing you, maybe like a Luke, you can just pop Exposed Weakness, and if they continue to chase you, you can punish them for it. He also has a Critical Hit card. I like this very much, because you can actually 2-shot a Han Solo with this card. if you activate Duelist and Expose Weakness and hit him in the back with this critical hit, you can two-shot him. I haven't tested it extensively, but you can. I was also using Masterful Duelist, Dominance, and Initiative. Those were the cards I was using at the time. Just because it could do more damage, and this could do more damage, and this gives you the critical hit. I don't use that setup personally. I like using Finesse just so you drain less stamina. And some people like to use Last Seconds. I use it sparingly. Because, you know, I doubt you're going to hit the same person twice with Lightning Stun. You know, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And most likely they're not going to fall like the same thing twice. They're not going to get Lightning Stun twice. And even then, you know, it's not going to happen within the same however many seconds. But, yeah. Last Seconds, in my opinion, doesn't really make a difference. You know, it just depends. It's all down to variation, variable change, you know. So, Dooku has the fastest attacks in the game. He can also melt someone's health and stamina the fastest in the game. He has 3 dodges. His hook swings are okay in speed. He also has a knockdown lightning stun. He can make its targets slower and exposed to more damage. He can increase his damage and swing speed with duelists. It's just, and his stamina isn't even the worst either. You know, he can dance around his opponents to get his stamina back. He can wait on lightning stun to get his stamina back. You know, maybe if you use last seconds, you would be able to, you know, make sure that you would always get it back. But I like finesse, just so you don't have to do that. Now, I'd say Dooku is better than Vader because, you know, he can combo all of his abilities together. You know, Vader, he can activate Focus Rage, Choke, and then Lightsaber Throw. Now, if he activates Focus Rage and he meets someone like Obi-Wan, Restricted Mind Trick, and that's it. Someone like Yoda, Presence, he's out of the choke, and you will not lose perma with Yoda. Because, you know, bonus health and all that. Now, maybe in a specific situation against Luke or Rey, who don't have that high health recovery, it could work. But Dooku, I mean, Dooku can go against Luke. Dooku wins because of Luke's low regen. Dooku wins against Rey, even if it's only slight, because Rey usually has 3 dodges with her start card. He has a knockdown, which I think, with last seconds, of course, has, I think, the same recharge time as Rey's dash. But, you know, it's 50-50, maybe you want to use last seconds, maybe you don't. But Dooku, of course, can get that critical hit in when Rey's in her dash. And even one hit with that duelist, it will increase. It will even out the odds, because Rey's 2 hits basically amount to that. And I don't think it's even confirmed that Rey gets 2 hits when she's done with the dash attack. Now, Dooku can kill Luke because of low regen. Rey, she can just take damage fast. And Anakin has low stamina, so you can just spam him until his stamina is done for. Force him to activate his abilities, then do it again, and he's just going to lose health. Of course, Yoda versus Dooku. Dooku wins by miles because I'd say that's the second worst odds in the game. Because Dooku has the fastest attacks in the game, and Yoda has the slowest attacks in the game. If you play Dooku right, you will be able to triple parry Yoda. That's not a joke. I've done it. I can't tell if they're not blocking or they're just flustered, but I've been able to triple parry many Yodas just because of how slow their attacks are. Most Yodas, they'll let down their guard, and then they'll go for a dash attack. When they let down their guard, because, you know, they want to run and then dash attack for some reason, I'll hit them, and then they'll dash attack, and then I'll get 2 extra hits out of it. Now, Dooku versus Obi-Wan. Dooku has high regen, I think the most damaging attacks in the game, and, well, with Duelist and Exposed Weakness, of course, which, you know, the ability recharge times of that aren't slow at all, by any means. But Dooku, strongest I wouldn't say the strongest attacks, but the fastest attacks, and they deal a lot of damage, which can be boosted further by star cards. He also has 3 dodges, which can, you know, nullify Obi-Wan's defensive rush greatly. Dooku is just the scariest character to deal with. He honestly is. He can be the most offensive and the most, well, you won't be able to hit him, you know? He's not like Obi-Wan, where he just has, like, piles and piles of defensive stamina. He doesn't use that stamina very often. Dooku has 3 dodges. He can dance and glide around his opponents in order to get hit in their back, maybe bait them into hitting him, lightning stun, you know, things like that. So, I'd say Dooku is number 1 overall. Because Dooku versus Obi-Wan, even with Obi-Wan's high regen, I'd say Dooku wins just slightly. Yeah. Obi-Wan versus Vader, everyone knows what you're doing. Obi-Wan can win. I'd say it's 50-50 between Obi-Wan and Vader, but Dooku and Obi-Wan, I'd say it's 55 towards Dooku, 45 towards Obi-Wan, you know? But anyways, I hope you enjoyed on this 2020 updated version of, you know, what duelists are best, ranked from worst to best, all 10 of them. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.